Mr. Chairman, with the permission of Senator Trillanes, magandang umaga po. Just a quick administrative matter. Despite of what I feel is a very professional way of running the hearing, and for the record, we have not changed the rules of the Blue Ribbon Committee, I think for the last 20 years. All the other major investigations, even those that were chaired by the Vice President, was run this way, Mr. Chairman, but I will not go into that now. My point is that we were being criticized, or the chairman, that how can you inspect a building without the plans? So for the record, the plans, despite being readily available, was only submitted today. No? And that is my administrative question. That's my question, Mr. Chairman, as an administrative matter. Napaka-importante para sa atin na makita yung plano dahil marami itong sasabihin sa atin. Hillmarks wanted to present last week, but they did not submit the plans yet. So may I quickly ask the administrator of Makati and the Hillmarks, did they submit the original plans or the as-built plans?
Start with the submit to this committee.
Yes,
right?
I'm asking ahead of
Did
time.
you, sige, Administrator, Attorney Mendoza, what plans did you submit to the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee?
Based on the letter we filed with the Secretariat, Your Honor, we have submitted an as-built plan, Your Honor. And this was submitted today, Your Honor.
Okay.
We acted on the September 1 letter of the Honorable Committee, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney. Is it both the original and as-built or only the as-built?
I understand, Your Honor, is the as-built plan.
Yes. In the first hearing, sir, you weren't here, but the mayor agreed also to give the original plan. So can we have that also as soon as possible, please? No?
We will.
Okay. The other thing, Mr. Chair, world-class ang Makati, no? So I assume that you have a digital copy of the plans.
Well, if I may direct you to our engineer, Your Honor, he's the one in charge of it.
Ma'am, you have a digital copy of the as-built plans?
Sir, we have a tracing paper copy of the as-built plan because we have a consultant.
Yes. And it is on a digital file, the tracing?
No.
No. Sabi niyo, world-class ang Makati. All the world-class cities in the world have it
It's a
on a
property.
digital file.
Sir, it's a property of the consultant. So, the
You bought,
tracing
ma'am,
paper
you
were
bought
given
the
to
building.
us.
So yung plans and as-built plans are properties also of the city. But anyway, the Hillmarks are here. Mr. Chair, may I ask if they can...
Before you ask, Hillmark, Engineer De La Peña mentioned consultant. For the record, repeat the name of the consultant.
Mana po.
Mana.
Architecture.
So yan ang official name po na Mana Architecture.
Yes.
Apa, sige.
Mr. Chair, may I
Sige
just
po.
find out from Hillmarks, do you have a digital copy of the original plans and also of the as-built?
We have submitted, Your Honor, the as-built plans. Now, we were sent a subpoena duces tecum for the building plans, Your Honor. We do not have copies of the building plans anymore, so what we did, we wrote the City of Makati a letter requesting for the said plans, Your Honor, so we can submit.
How about a digital copy?
We do not have the digital copy, Your Honor.
You're one of the biggest, nasa top 1,000 corporations kayo in the Philippines, di ba?
What we had, Your Honor, when we bought the bidding documents, what we have were the
No, I'm talking about the as-built plans.
as-built plans, Your Honor.
If
Yes.
I ask
we already
most-
submitted the as-built
Yes,
plans,
the
Your Honor.
digital copy, sir.
Printed copies, actually. Your Honor.
Digital copy, sir. Meron kayo, di ba?
We can submit, Your Honor.
Okay, can you email it today?
We'll try, Your Honor.
No, do not try. That is available in the computer. Kung 3 oras ang ating hearing, para wala na, alam niyo, pagdating ng inspection, sinabi, nangangamoy pintura pa, may mga nire-repair. Gusto niyo bang isipin ng tao na nire-repair pa yung plano? Dapat, nung August 20 ang hearing, dapat August 21 na isubmit yan, nasa files lahat yan No?
We'll make arrangements now with the office, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Chair, may I ask that the staff give them our email? And lastly, Mr. Chair, these are the following that I asked Mr. Chair to make sure that we have. Scope of each phase, full sets of as-built plans, full sets of original plans, and cost of every phase for the following, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman: the parking building, the OSMAC, nursing building, and the Makati Science High School. Would you confirm, Attorney Peig, that Peig, am I saying correct, sir?
Peig, Your
Peig,
Honor.
compañero.
Peig, Your Honor.
Am I correct that all of these buildings are contracts of Hillmark?
Can we go over them again, Your Honor?
Yes. The Makati City Parking Building or Makati City Hall 2,
Yes, Your Honor.
OSMAC Building,
Yes, Your Honor.
sa inyo po lahat yan. Attorney, just so that I can surrender the time again to the chairman and to... Can you tell this committee bakit importante ang digital copy compared sa printed copy? As a lawyer, you're a lawyer, in terms of evidence.
Can you repeat the...
Why is the digital copy important compared to the printed copy as far as being evidence?
It's more difficult to alter, Your Honor.
That's right. Because the printed copies, you can alter. So, pwedeng baguhin at isubmit dito. Pero ang digital copies ho, ay may digital stamp kung kailan ginawa. So, you will see if it has been manipulated. That's why each city should have a digital copy of all of this. No? But anyway, Mr. Chair, I surrender the time to you and hope that the criticisms that we're not doing it professionally because we don't have the plans is now clarified, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cayetano. Well, definitely when we write the report here, we will base it on the evidence. So we will have a documentary as well as the testimonial evidence. So in addition to the verbal request to Hillmarks, the Secretariat is directed to send a written request so that nobody forgets anything. So before Senator Trillanes asks his questions, may I ask those who went with us to the ocular, specifically Mr. Greg Jackson and Architect Danilo Alano, since your opinions were asked by the media and reported, can you please tell this committee and all those following the proceedings, who you are, what your professional experience, background, and affiliations are, and what else you want to tell us so that the people can start, because you were treated as experts, so the people can start checking on your credentials and qualifications so that they can also decide whether to treat you as an expert. So may I start with Mr. Greg Jackson? Excuse me, Mr. Jackson. Senator Trillanes asked about Mr. Cuervo, but Mr. Cuervo already introduced himself during the first hearing. So Mr. Jackson, please introduce yourself to the committee and to the Filipino people.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Gregory Ian Jackson. I'm an Australian citizen, 50 years old, of single status. My qualification, I have a qualification in quantity surveying, a discipline within the construction industry known as quantity surveying. I have approximately 38 years experience in the construction industry, working in 8 different countries. Majority of my time had been working with an international construction firm by the name of Leighton, headquartered out of Australia. In my recent experience, I've had 18 years working in Southeast Asia and the United Arab Emirates. I've worked across a number of different projects. Some key projects that I have recently worked on in the region have been the Zulig building here in Makati in Manila, the new Australian Embassy compound project in Jakarta in Indonesia, Saigon Metropolitan Tower office building in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, a 20-story apartment building in Bangkok, Thailand, and a large construction village camp for 20,000 persons in Abu Dhabi.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, Senator Cayetano.
Mr. Chair, just some manifestations. First of all, as we've thanked Mr. Cuervo and we've thanked Architect Kulkol, I want to thank Mr. Jackson. Later we'll ask you questions why you're doing this, but I know that you're just doing this for love of the industry. And let me put on record, Mr. Chair, that Layton, I asked about them. It was established in 1949. Layton Contractors is the founding company of the Layton Holdings Group, ASX LEI. Today, Layton Contractors is one of Australia's most recognized, diverse, and established industry leaders. And in fact, I asked some of the architects that I know who have been also doing many buildings in Makati, and they're known not only region-wide but worldwide. So, as I said in the first hearing, it was very difficult to get people like Mr. Cuervo and now Mr. Jackson because my information is they were being threatened that they cannot do business in Makati if they testify or if we engage them to do a quantity surveying. Having said that, Mr. Chair, I challenge the side of the Mayor and Vice President Binay, get a reputable quantity surveyor and present the evidence here and will be most welcome. But allow us to ask the questions. So thank you, Mr. Jackson, for being here.
Did you mention, Mr. Jackson, your professional affiliation as to organizations, international or local?
My associations within the industry, I'm a qualified member of the Australian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, which is an organisation, a prerequisite of which is having a tertiary qualification from a recognised university and school, which I currently hold.
An Australian organization. Okay, Architect Alano, please introduce yourself to the committee and to the Filipino nation.
Good morning, Your Honors. I'm Danilo Alano, a licensed architect. I've been practicing, I've been an architect since 1982. I am now we were here with Architect Call as an invitation of the Blue Ribbon Committee, as an organization to the Philippine Institute of Architects. I am now District Director of the National Board and the incumbent President of the Manila section of the same institute.
Thank you. So, Philippine Institute of Architects. Thank you, Architect Alano. Okay, Senator Trillanes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Before I start asking questions, gusto ko lang pong linawin sa ating mga kababayan na ito pong Senate investigation ay iba po ito sa korte. Ito mong nasa harap natin ngayon ay hindi po mga testigo, kundi mga resource persons. Ngayon, as resource persons, pwede po namin kayong kausapin before, after, or during the hearing, we can convince you to tell the truth, and pagka nagsabi kayo ng totoo, you can be protected, you can be guaranteed protection. At on the other hand, pagka naman ng bola kayo rito, we will not take it lightly also, because we have powers to hold you in contempt. And at the same time, eventually, the Blue Ribbon Committee can submit recommendations for proper charges in court. So, ganun po ang nature ng Senate investigations. Tapos, ito open to the public. Ngayon, yung aming method of questioning, depende po yan sa mga estilo ng mga senador. Yung mga abogado, they can instinctively use their learned skills on cross-examination, pero may mga kagaya naman namin sundalo, we can also employ tactical interrogation techniques if it will be effective. Bottom line dito, we will extract information the way we know how. But we will assure you that your constitutional rights will be protected, specifically yung right to remain silent, right against self-incrimination, na pwede nyong invoke at any time. So, yan po ang nature dito. Kaya nga mas nakakakalap tayo ng mga ebidensya rito, whether documentary at testimonial, dahil nakikita po ito open to the public ito, at hindi siya limited by the rules of court. Okay, so maliwanag po yan. Now,
the plans yet. So may I quickly ask the administrator of Makati and the Hillmarks, did they submit the original plans or the as-built plans?
Start with the submit to this committee.
Yes,
right?
I'm asking ahead of
Did
time.
you, sige, Administrator Attorney Mendoza, what plans did you submit to the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee?
Based on the letter we filed with the Secretariat, Your Honor, we have submitted an as-built plan, Your Honor. And this was submitted today, Your Honor. We acted on the September 1 letter of the Honorable Committee, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney. Is it both the original and as-built or only the as-built?
I understand, Your Honor, is the as-built plan.
Yes. In the first hearing, sir, you weren't here, but the mayor agreed also to give the original plan. So can we have that also as soon as possible, please? No?
We will.
Okay. The other thing, Mr. Chair, World Class ang Makati, no? So I assume that you have a digital copy of the plans.
Well, if I may direct you to our engineer, Your Honor, he's the
Yes.
one in charge of it.
Ma'am, you have a digital copy of the as-built plans?
Sir, we have a tracing paper copy of the as-built plan because we have a consultant.
Mr. Chairman, with the permission of Senator Trillanes, magandang umaga po. Just a quick administrative matter. Despite of what I feel is a very professional way of running the hearing, and for the record, we have not changed the rules of the Blue Ribbon Committee, I think for the last 20 years. All the other major investigations, even those that were chaired by the Vice President, was run this way, Mr. Chairman, but I will not go into that now. My point is that we were being criticized, or the chairman, that how can you inspect a building without the plans? So for the record, the plans, despite being readily available, was only submitted today. No? And that is my administrative question. That's my question, Mr. Chairman, as an administrative matter. Napaka-importante para sa atin na makita yung plano dahil marami itong sasabihin sa atin. Hillmarks wanted to present last week but they did not submit